Do you feel tension in your body when you play? Like your shoulders are hunched, you're gritting your teeth, you've got the left hand death grip, it's pressing so hard. Or do you find that it's hard to focus on the music because your thoughts keep wandering?
Maybe I'll eat something. Oh, I see. Oh, so many choices. Pizza!
If any of that stuff happens to you, then I think this lesson will help you. We're gonna learn a music meditation process. You'll learn to pay close attention to your body, breath, and mind as you play. We're gonna start very simply with a single note, and then we'll get more complex, do tune chunks and scales and things, but all the while keep returning our attention to the body. That's the basic idea. We're gonna use the tune Swallowtail Jig, which is kind of an advanced beginner tune, but you can do this with anything, any level, any style of music, okay? I'm super excited that you're here. Let's get started. Let's start by playing a single note. First finger on the D string, which is E. We're gonna play it with an E drone. Quarter notes. And as you play, notice your body. Is there any tension anywhere? Notice your breath. Are you breathing evenly? And notice your thoughts and emotions. Are you resisting this? It's okay if you are. Just notice it and then continue. It helps to close your eyes if you can. Make this one note sound as good as you can. And then enjoy that sound. And let it be effortless. And enjoy the feeling of effortlessness. We want to bring this feeling of effortlessness to everything we do, and I know you can do it. So let's do it a little bit more on a single note. You can do long notes. We can do textures like tremolo. Just move the wrist. And then a slightly more complex thing, we can do rhythms like hoedown. Do it on your own and see if you start to notice your mind drifting or tension coming back as you play this one note. Okay, good. And now we're gonna do something a little more complex. We're gonna play a simple scale called E Dorian scale. If you haven't done it before, I'll just say that it's the same notes as D major, which is probably the first scale that most of you have learned. So to play E Dorian, I'll just show it to you right now. It's D1, 2, 3, open A, 1, 2, 3, open E. Okay? So if you need to see that again and hear the tabs, please rewind. Otherwise, we're gonna just do it a little bit. And we're just gonna play the scale really simply. There's an infinite number of variations that you could add, which makes it fun and which allows you to practice different things. I think scales are really underrated as just a fun thing to do. I'm a music nerd though. But what we're gonna do right now is play it very simply and with the intention of really staying focused on the body. So before we begin, hold the fiddle, relax. Maybe pay attention to something you didn't notice before, like is your stomach tight? Or maybe your jaw is tight, or maybe your eyes are kind of straining. See if you can relax everything, and then we begin again with the scale. 2, 3, 4, D1. Let's let's just do one variation. We will do triplets. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here we go. So before going on, I want to remind you that you can do this with anything you're learning. So if you're learning a tune in D major, like Arkansas Traveler, then you would play the D scale there. I also want to remind you that for certain keys, like this is E Dorian, E minor, we could do different kinds of scales. So you may want to also, or instead, do those, like D, that's E minor triad, or E minor pentatonic. So now that we've done the scale, we've warmed up with that, we will now move on and do a chunk of the song. Now in this video, I'm not going to do the entire song. I'm not going to do the meditation process for the whole song, but I will say that I've led a workshop on that recently, and I'm sharing it with you. If you just follow the link in the text, you can take that for free. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so now we're going to do a chunk of the song, and we're going to again try to connect with our body and get to the point where we're playing with ease and joy. So we're going to do a little chunk from the song, the beginning. So I'm going to chain those notes, partly to teach you, but partly to encourage you to do this on your own. Even if you know something really well, chaining is a great practice. So here it goes. We play the first note, D3, first two notes, D3 to D1, then 3, 1, 1. We keep adding notes. 3, 1, 1, A1. And this is part of the meditation. Each new note is going to make it feel a little different. Let's add another note. Added D1. Now we're going to add a second D1. Now we have our first chunk. This is something we can really sink our teeth into and work with a little bit. So you may want to pause and practice this on your own if you haven't done the song. But at this point in the meditation, ask yourself, what kind of problems might be tripping me up, that might be causing me to feel tension? Sometimes when there's something you can't quite do, other parts of your body get tense when they don't really need to. So pay attention to that and then try to work out that problem. In this little section of the song, which by the way, these 6 notes are in this whole first chunk, the first quarter of the song is probably the key chunk of the song, probably even the most challenging part of the song. So one technical thing that people may need to work out is having that first finger planted across both D1 and A1. If you're a guitarist, you might call this a bar. And part of the meditation is just play with it, stay with it. Play it once, pause, kind of evaluate, what could I do different? Maybe more staccato. So try it in all different ways, and then as it starts to come online and feel a little bit better, we can play around with the tempo. Maybe do it even more slowly. And then play it a little faster to see what comes to light from that. Playing faster is an interesting part of the meditation because you may notice tension arising then. And it's a really helpful thing for playing faster is to let go of tension, to use less energy. And so be mindful of, are you pushing and trying harder to play fast, when it's almost like you have to really do less in order to play fast. And so, something weird just happened with my bow. I think an invisible alien came. So stay with that chunk for a little bit. And then the next step is to loop it. So once you've worked out these kinks, and we can now get into this phase of looping, which is to continuously play it. And this is kind of like a crossover point, as I see it, with learning music. When you can take something and play it in a continuous loop, you move beyond thinking about it and analyzing it and figuring out problems. You move from that to a state of flow and playing and just having it feel like music. That's really the goal of looping, is to have it feel like music and have you start to enjoy the feeling of music. If you're learning a super long piece, the whole thing is not going to sound like music for maybe a while, but you can get in one sitting something to go from pretty rocky to feeling like flow and music if you pick the right size chunk. And so we're going to do that with this piece. We're going to play it very slowly. Let's loop it together. I'll count in 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so you could keep going with that. You could do the loop faster, slower. And so we're almost done with the basic process of the music meditation. So we've actually done the major parts, and what we're working on just a single chunk still of a song. And I'm just going to now suggest a few extra things you could do that I just call modifiers for your practice. So one would be just closing your eyes, which I mentioned earlier. The other would be singing. So simply to sing that piece helps to bring the music into your body. You feel it. You can hum it too if you don't want to sing. Do 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 do. And if you hum it, try to put your hand on your heart and feel the vibration. Okay, so there's that. There's visualizing the music, also known as audiation. After you've gotten to this point, can you hear the music in your head? And we can actively practice that. You can play it once. Hear it in your head. And then keep going between playing and visualizing. So I think that's good for that. And now we've worked through all the main steps on this first little chunk. And now you could simply do the next chunk in the song, which would be. So let's pretend like we've done all the steps for that. And then we put together the first two chunks into a bigger chunk, which is the first quarter of the A part of Swallowtail Jig. And we hopefully get to the point where we still have that relaxed feeling. And then before moving on to the next chunk of the song and continuing the process, I encourage you to just return to a single note again. Check in, just constant check in with your body. What's going on? Am I nervous? I'm being filmed? What are people thinking of me? See if you can let that go and notice the thought. Okay. And then whenever you run out of time, or a little bit before you run out of time, leave a few minutes to kind of wind down from the music meditation. And what I like to do when I do this in workshops is to just end with a single note And then why don't you join me right now if you have an instrument handy. And then as you play that note, again, let your body relax, your mind relax, your breath, notice everything. And then contemplate how good it is to play music and give thanks for music and really try to do that while playing that note. Just feel grateful that you're playing an instrument right now and that you get to do this. And this is not some woo-woo thing. This is a powerful practice. I think it'll help your playing and it'll probably just make you a little happier. Okay, good. So when you're done with the music meditation, ask yourself a few reflection questions. Were you able to play with more ease? Maybe you weren't, but just try to find out. Did you enjoy the practice a little bit more? And then finally ask, how could I do it different? How could I apply it to something else? So let's take a moment now to sum up the main ideas of the music meditation. Number 1, relax body, breath, and mind as you play. Number 2, maintain that relaxed awareness during more complex practice. Number 3, apply this process to any song at any level. Alright, thanks for watching this FiddleHed video. As I mentioned before, I led a workshop, the Swallowtail Jig meditation workshop, and if you want to take that, I'm offering for free. Just click the link in the text. And if you don't do that, I hope you use it somehow with whatever you're learning. And if you do, leave a comment or write me an email. I'd love to hear about it because I'm learning how this works still. I'm teaching it and trying to develop it through workshops and sharing lessons on YouTube and stuff. So I really appreciate your feedback. And thanks for taking part, and thanks for making music and putting it out there in the world. Okay, see ya.
Go to FiddleHed.com for a progressive, step-by-step course outline, color-coded tabs, play-along tracks, sheet music, and much more. Thanks for watching the video. Excellent! And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.